And as you can see, it has enormous windows. Each side is virtually completely a window. Hi everyone, welcome back to my next video. I've moved into this Subaru Forester, and it's a small car. And right now I'm in the Arizona desert. And as you can see, it is a big open area. What you can't see is I've got a couple of people pretty close. So how do you live in a tiny space of a car? If the weather's bad, you know, the wind's blowing, it's raining, it's cold, whatever it is, and you're inside a lot, forced inside, there's no room in there, you're not moving around. How are you going to cook in there? How are you going to go to the bathroom in there? How are you going to spend a lot of time inside if you're forced into it? Well, if you're in a small space, even a minivan can feel very confined. Even a regular sized van can feel very confined. What a lot of people do is go out into a tent. Now, if you have a hatchback like this has, you can get what's called an SUV tent. It attaches to the hatchback and it becomes a tent that you can move in and out of, which greatly increases your space. You can go to the bathroom back there, you can change your clothes back there, you can move around, you can cook. It's pretty amazing. So today we're going to test two different brands of SUV tents, and we're going to compare it to just the idea of buying a smaller regular tent that gives you more space outside, but isn't so big that it takes up a lot of space inside when you're traveling. Anybody with a hatchback, no matter the size of the rig, probably can use an SUV tent. And some of you who are in pickups with the shell that opens in back, you can probably think about getting an SUV tent as well. So they've got a broad application. They solve a serious problem for those of us in small rigs, confined rigs. And so I think it's useful to look at them. So let's go now and compare a couple of SUV tents and see how they work out for me. So when I moved into the Scion and then later into the Subaru, my first thought was, boy, I'd like to have a lot of extra room outside of me. If I could find a small enough tent, I would make that work. So this is just a standard old tent. It's $139. It's made by HeWolf. It's 3 to 4 person. It's a pop-up, so there's not the major setup difficulties. This weighs 12 pounds, and let's go ahead and get it set up and see what we do. And this is the tent itself. Straighten it up. All right, now let me read the instructions. You have to grab this thing here and pull it down like that. It's a little lower, but that makes it much more rigid. Again, this is a very small tent. You and a dog and some stuff is about it. But you're living out of your SUV, out of your car, out of your pickup maybe, or out of a van, and you just need some extra space. That's all this is. So we've got it all set up. It was super easy. If you're looking for a tent that is as easy as humanly possible to set up, boy, this is about it. So over here, I've got the White Duck 10-foot bell tent. That has been setting on this property most of the time, completely unattended for over a year. It will stand through anything. It's unbelievable. Now we're going to go take a look at the two SUV tents. And those things do have something special to offer the attachment to the SUV. So the first SUV tent I bought was this Sealight. The cost is $280. It's 20 pounds. So here's the Sealight SUV pop-up tent. So here's the main body of the tent. First, I'll see if I can set it up without looking at the instructions. So here we are. We've got this tent set up, and my my Subaru backed up into it. Pretty standard-sized SUV. And look how far forward this tunnel goes. I'm very impressed with that. It's got the standard straps. It's a breezy day. It's not really windy, but it's breezy, and it seems to be doing pretty well. And so this one comes forward on this car, on this particular tent. It comes up and goes onto a suction cup, and it has an S-hook there. What this won't work is if you've got a solar panel on the roof, but a lot of you don't. You have the folding solar panels you take out and lay out. That'll work great for you. So let's go inside and take a look. So it's 8 foot by 10 foot. It's a very large tent. The bathtub floor comes all the way up. I think you're going to get a lot of protection from wind and bugs. And as you can see, it has enormous windows. Each side is virtually completely a window. It's got very good ventilation. We haven't put on the fly yet, I don't know how well it's going to hold up. That's the one thing I can't tell you right now. But so far, I'm very impressed. Very, very good tent. The last tent we're going to have in this comparison of these three tents, this is a JoyTutus. I've owned JoyTutus products before. This tent is $169. It's smaller. It's only 7'7". We'll get this set up and take a look at it now. As you can see, this is the JoyTutus. It's in a pretty small package. So we went ahead and set up the JoyTutus. I didn't shoot it. You can see other people doing it, but it was a pretty standard setup. You've got the long poles that go through the sleeves. The problem that I see with the JoyTutus is they don't crisscross. You know, most dome tents crisscross, and that gives us a lot of strength. However, once we attach the car to it, man, it became very strong. So it's really quite a windy day and breezy. It's good and breezy, and the Sealight's blowing a lot because the car isn't attached to it. But I think this is more stable. I like that it's not as long. See, if I'm going to put my solar panel up there, it won't interfere. I think I like the elastic on this a little better. It seems like this is good waterproof fabric. It's got a good seal all around. It only uses 2 straps, and they both go down to the wheel. Well, let's go inside and take a look around. This is a much smaller tent, but I think this is adequate. I actually like the way it attaches to the car real well, but my hatch didn't go up all the way. It couldn't on the other one. It's up all the way. I can step under the hatch. Again, it's got a great big tall bathtub, so water's not coming in from underneath. All in all, I'm going to have to say once I had it set up, I like it. So if you're anything with a hatchback, an SUV, maybe even a small pickup, I think a Tacoma could work on these. Maybe a full-size pickup, I'm not sure. And you're living inside it. For me, the big problem was going to the bathroom. I'm too awkward and stiff to be able to comfortably go in the bathroom in my Subaru, and maybe that's a problem for you too. I know people for whom it's no problem at all. For me, it is. So I am looking for something to set up on the outside so I can go outside, and if it's raining and I'm stuck for a long time inside, I like to be somewhere where I can be outside. So I've bought these 3 tents and tried them. On the far over here is just and it's a blustery day today, and that's a good thing. The far tent is just a simple, cheap tent. It's $139. It's really easy to set up alone. It seems to be standing there really well in the wind. And I can go in there and go to the bathroom. I can go take some stuff out of the car so I have some more room, some more kicking around room. That might be the perfect thing for a lot of us. And just carrying a little cheap tent like that, pretty good thing. Next, we have the Sealight. It's huge. It's pretty darned easy to set up. It's a fine tent, and it'll work well for you. That's, I think, the bottom line. And then finally, still attached to my car is the JoyTutus. Hard to set up. Of the 3 of them, by far, it's not a pop-up. The other 2 are pop-ups. They're designed to be easy. This was hard to set up. I would really recommend 2 people. You can see that of the 3 tents attached to the car, it's the steadiest in this wind. I'm really, really surprised. It's small, 7'7", but for me alone or a couple, yeah, I think I like the JoyTutus a lot. Another option, and I think a far better option for me at least, is one of the pop-up shower potty tents, which is what this is. This is a real competitor because, of course, it's teeny tiny, it doesn't weigh much, and it doesn't take up any space. They pop right up, they go right back down. I haven't tested any of these long-term. I can't say which ones are going to hold up. In fact, but what I can say is that my experience with tents is they don't hold up very long in the Arizona wind. If you're going to be down in Arizona or the desert Southwest, part of the year in the winter, 3-4 months out of the winter, they're really going to get torn up by wind. And so that's just something you got to live with. Of the 3 that I have setting up here right now, I would definitely go with the HeWolf. It's small, pops up, sets up super easy and nice. It's frustration free for me. And that is the great big thing. So that's the information I have that I can give to you. And now only you can make the decision which of them might work for you, or maybe none of them would work for you, and you'll just stick with your car, your SUV, or whatever you're in. I hope it works super well for you and that you are happy and have a long and joyous nomad life in whatever you decide to do. So I hope you got something out of this little video, that these 3 ideas, maybe they told you none of those will work for me, but now you know something. You know, I've given you that information. Maybe one will work perfectly for you. You go down, you buy it, and you have a better life, and I'm very glad if that happens as well. So if you got anything out of this video, like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button. Tell some of your friends, tell family and friends there's this channel that you like, and maybe they'll like it too. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye now.